So welcome back to the channel. So Kevin McCarthy has been removed as speaker. Him and Matt Gaetz have been going at it for a while now. Now, from what I've been understanding, even from the jump, Matt Gaetz did not trust this man. That's why he made him go through all those leaps and bounds to be speakership, because McCarthy was moving his belongings into that office even before he was voted in. He is part of the swamp. Gaetz always knew it. They keep saying McCarthy made a deal with the devil, but Gaetz also made a deal with the devil too, in order for him to be speaker. Only difference is Gaetz always knew he had a stronger hand than McCarthy. So that's where we're at now. He been telling him from the jump, listen, bro, you gotta come through with some of these things you promised us, or else I'm gonna get rid of you. That's exactly what happened. Kevin McCarthy thought he could rely on the Democrats. Democrats came out, I think yesterday or today, was like, nah, you're on your own, buddy. You can swim out there in the ocean by yourself. So let's hear what Matt Gaetz has to say coming out after this.
He's talking to reporters outside the Capitol right now.
Congressman Gaetz, if not McCarthy, then who?
Paralyzed the House of Representatives today. To whose benefit? People have called you a narcissist. People say that is to your benefit alone. Is it to the benefit of you and to Donald Trump?
It's the benefit of this country that we have a better Speaker of the House than Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy couldn't keep his word. He made an agreement in January regarding the way Washington would work, and he violated that agreement. We are $33 trillion in debt. We are facing $2.2 trillion annual deficits. We face a de-dollarization globally that will crush Americans, working class Americans. Kevin McCarthy is a feature of the swamp. He has risen to power by collecting special interest money and redistributing that money in exchange for favors. We are breaking the...
That's the same thing that Nancy Pelosi has been doing her entire career, or for the last bunch of decades since she's been in Congress.
Fever now, and we should elect a speaker who's better.
So if not Kevin McCarthy, then who?
You said last night that Steve Scalise was a name that you floated to potentially be speaker. Where do things stand right now? If not McCarthy, then who?
Well, the stages of grief, I think, are in progress right now with some of my colleagues. I think there was a stage of denial, and I've certainly experienced a good amount of their anger, and now we appear to be headed toward bargaining. I think the world of Steve Scalise. I think he'd make a phenomenal speaker.
We've got less than 45.
I'm afraid of $33 trillion in debt crushing the working people in my district. I'm afraid of the dollar losing its status as the global reserve currency. If they want to expel me, let me know when they have the vote.
We've got less than 45 days left before we've got less than 45 days left before you have to pass a budget, which is something that you've been wanting to do. Doesn't this just completely paralyze the House? I mean, we could see 50.
Oh, I don't know why they keep asking this question. If need be, shut it down. These bills that these politicians keep passing ain't helping anybody but them anyways. So it don't even matter. Oh, they keep talking about this CHIPS Act. Yeah, but that's going to help the industry. And if you ain't peeped it by now, that's exactly why they brought in all these migrants to work at those industries. They don't want to have to pay real Americans a living wage. They want to pay these migrants low minimum, well, not even minimum wage. They want to pay them low wages, next to nothing. They trying to be like Japan or whatever. I'm not being for these questions they keep asking. And I don't even think they care. I should say I don't even think Gaetz care who the speaker is, as long as it's not McCarthy.
15 more rounds.
I don't think we will. I think Kevin McCarthy should take a hint. After 15 ballots to become speaker, after 8 months of a failed speakership, and after removal in this historic manner, I think we should move on and find somebody else. What's paralyzed the House of Representatives has been the failure of Speaker McCarthy. What paralyzed the House of Representatives was not taking up appropriations bills. We left for a 6-week vacation while the appropriations process hung in the balance. And because I forced these people to take a few votes, you think I'm paralyzing the House of Representatives? I think the House of Representatives has been paralyzed for the last several decades as we've refused to pass a budget and as we've governed by continuing resolution and omnibus bill. Yep. So I think that this represents the ripping off of the Band-Aid, and that's what we need to do to get back on track.
How do you pass anything if 200 Republicans? How do you pass anything?
What do you say to your colleagues
who argue you don't have another name right now. You don't have someone else who could get 218 votes. What do you tell those colleagues?
Well, I would tell them that for certain, Kevin McCarthy can't get 218 votes, so let's try the next person.
How do you pass something with
pro tem, obviously?
There would have to be a real meeting of the minds there.
Congressman Gaetz, how do you pass something if there's 200 Republicans?
Somebody else has another question.
Are you going to ask for a guarantee from whoever is floated as a candidate for the next speaker for them to actually move the appropriations process along in a speed that satisfies you?
Yes.
Congressman, at this point,
So, will you be putting yourself forward for the speakership?
Absolutely not. I have no desire to be Speaker of the
How
House.
do you pass, Congressman, with all due respect, how do you pass something if you don't have 200 Republicans behind you?
I know we've already asked about names, but what about Emmer and others?
I think the world of Tom Emmer. He'd make a great speaker.
Congressman,
Have you spoken with any of these? Have you spoken with Scalise? Have you spoken with Emmer?
I've spoken with him, but I'll probably keep our conversations between us.
Congressman, take the speaker.
What was going through your head when the vote gavelled down and it was official McCarthy wasn't speaker?
Just we got to move to the next step. You know, we are not at the end of this process. Okay, at most we're approaching halftime. We've got to be able to assemble a governing coalition. We have to build from a place of trust. The reason Kevin McCarthy went down today is because nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy has made multiple contradictory promises, and when they all came due, he lost votes of people who maybe don't even ideologically agree with me on everything. Take, for example, my colleague from South Carolina, Ms. Mace. She has different views than I do on a variety of subjects, but what we had in common, Kevin McCarthy lied to all of us.
Congressman, hold on a second. You're saying that nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy, but you're talking about, including yourself, about 7 Republicans compared to about 200 and
it's a lot of Democrats.
Some odd Republicans who actually do trust him.
That's a lot of
so
Democrats.
Can you kind of explain
Yes.
that here?
Well, as it turns out, getting 200 Republicans to trust you isn't enough to stay Speaker.
Compared to 7 Republicans.
At this point, have you spoken to former
Matt.
President Trump about this since the ousting? Was he supportive of what you were doing?
I have spoken to President Trump over the last several days. The ousting only occurred several minutes ago, so we haven't spoken during that time.
President Trump, though, put on Truth Social that he didn't think this was a good idea. He didn't want to see Republicans fighting with other Republicans. How do you respond to the former president?
I would say that my conversations with the former president leave me with great confidence that I'm doing the right thing.
Did the former president call you today? Did the former president call you today?
Americans who are concerned about the future of the conservative agenda in the House GOP.
I would say that the conservative agenda was being paralyzed by Speaker McCarthy. We hadn't even sent a subpoena to Hunter Biden. Our oversight was lackluster. Our spending priorities were misaligned. The top-line budget was going to lead to more inflation, more debt, more challenges. So the best way to advance the conservative agenda is to move forward with a new speaker.
What is the end game?
Are you going to require that any future speaker elected allows the motion to vacate to stay at a one-person threshold?
Yes.
Considering that Steve Scalise votes in line with Speaker McCarthy most of the time, why should he want the job after this just happened?
Well, that's a question for him, I guess, not me.
He said he's uninterested. He's already said he's
I haven't heard him say that.
No, he's already.
What has he said to you?
Well, here's what I would say. Here's what I say. I think a lot of members are going to reflect on their thinking after this historic moment. I think anything that people have said before the McCarthy ouster is probably bearing less weight than the way people may be thinking about these questions after the McCarthy ouster.
What is the end game?
Comments about Steve Scalise yesterday and today. Will you yourself nominate Steve Scalise for Speaker of the House?
Maybe. I want to hear from him. I mean, I'm not here to make a judgment on where Mr. Scalise stands with his rehabilitation and recovery. I would give him the deference to be able to decide whether or not he'd like to put himself forward as a candidate, but he'd be the type of person that I could see myself supporting. There are many people, though. I could see myself supporting Tom Emmer. I could see myself supporting Mike Johnson of Louisiana. I could see myself supporting Jody Arrington of Texas. I could see myself supporting Kevin Hearn of Oklahoma. And there are even people outside of the United States Congress like Lee Zeldin.
All right, before we handle off to the 5 here, some history.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you.
Bro, it's like he said, it doesn't matter who it is, as long as it's not Kevin McCarthy, man. The best politician right now. He's the only one that stands up to his higher ups. You see what the squad did? They came in talking about we're gonna break up the Democrats, and as soon as every single one of them got in, they all bowed down to Nancy Pelosi. Why? Because of the money. Nancy Pelosi threw a bunch of money at him. Oh, now it's Mama Bear, Mama Bear. Matt Gaetz said, no, I came here to do a certain thing, and you guys are supposed to help me do this certain thing, not throw a bunch of money at another country. They just had in the Hunter. Now I was just this is a little off topic, but they just had in the Hunter Biden case. One of the stipulations for him being released is he's supposed to look for unemployment. You don't look for unemployment. You just go online and sign up for it. But you get to collect unemployment, which is paid by the tax dollars for being a criminal. I can't even collect unemployment for leaving a job that I don't like, and he gets to collect unemployment for being a criminal. That does not make no sense, man. Doesn't make no sense. They can shut this entire government down because it ain't doing nothing for me or you watching, unless you a Democratic grifter or whatever, or a Republican grifter. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't. None of these bills that these people are passing are doing anything for anybody. Matt Gaetz said last night. I should have played the other video that he did from last night. He said they have a 4-day work week right now. Yesterday, they went in at 6 p.m. and they ended at 8 p.m. 2 hours of the whole day they worked. And I think he said it was only just to name a library or something like that. That is not how a government is supposed to work, y'all. It's not. So I am all for this man breaking up all norms, no matter how he good. If they got to get rid of him or take away whatever seats that he have, let him do it. But he at least played his card. And that's what you're supposed to do in politics. You're not supposed to. In order for is it okay? Just say like when it comes to somebody needing your vote, you say, "Hey, you want something from me? You got to give me something." That's exactly what he did. That's what you're supposed to do. Black people keep asking for reparations. You don't get that just by yelling at the government. You get that from the Congressional Black Caucus. That's why we put them there. They are the ones that's supposed to go to the government and say, "Hey, we are constituent. You need something from us. We need something from you." Regular people don't get shit from the government. We already seen that. Regular people don't get nothing. You don't see Asians and Indians lining up at the voting polls to make sure that they vote Democrat or Republican. No, they have their constituents. They have the Asian caucus. They have the Indian caucus or whatever caucus that they have to do that for them. That's how you're supposed to do politics, y'all. People don't understand nothing, man. I'm all for it, y'all. I'm out, y'all. I gotta feed this cat and whatnot. I just got home, but I seen this pop up and I just wanted to share this real quick. Y'all holler at me later. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.